So what did they call you?
Lena, 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 for short, but no, I never went by that.
Lena, what are you incarcerated for, and how long is your sentence?
I got incarcerated for attempted murder, and they gave me 15 years. I beat 28 to life, but because my victim slash ex-common law husband spoke to his VA and my public defender, he did not even want me incarcerated because it was partly his fault, and it took two, and he was really like pleading for my case and refused to testify. So I got the 15 years, and so I'm here. I was expendable. Okay, so I actually had a boyfriend at the time, and we were kind of living carefree. He was in his addiction, and I was in mine. It wasn't the same addiction. He had a different one. So I met one day, we were walking down the street, leaving the motel that we were living at. And this guy was passing by in his truck. And he kept passing by, right? So at that same time, incidentally, my boyfriend, he was like telling me, come with him to this fun house so that he could do his little thing, right? And I said, no, I don't want to. We'll meet later because I don't like it when you're on there, on that, or whatever. So he says, okay, I'll meet you here at 2. At this time, it was like 8 in the morning. Okay, so anyways, I walked toward the other direction, and this guy pulled up in the stop sign, the one that kept passing by. He's like, this is in Long Beach. He's like, do you need a ride? Like, are you okay? And I said, I do need a ride, but I have my own gas money. I'm not a prostitute or anything like that. I said that right off the bat. And so he's like, okay, it was a work truck. It was a company truck. And he just looked like a square guy. So I got in. And then after that, I said, well, you could drop me off at the liquor store because that was my addiction. And he was like, well, hey, it was 4th of July weekend back in 2012. He's like, well, hey, I'm not doing the thing. I'm on a 4-day weekend from my job, and we could go hang out wherever you want, whatever you want to do. And I was like, okay, cool, like the beach. I didn't have nothing to do, really. So from there, we became something together. He was like, I want you to just be with me. Like, I don't want you to be I want us to be exclusive. So that's it. One thing was to know, and that's what it was. So that's how. So we ended up moving to another, I don't know where you're at or where you're from, but these cities, I'm telling you, if you know what I'm talking about. But I was in Long Beach, and he ended up wanting to take me to Sardina, which is more close to Redondo Beach. And so we ended up living together, but see, again, we're both in our addiction again. He's drinking and I'm drinking. So that's how it ended up being a relationship, an intimate relationship. We just like fell in love, but nothing's going to work like that if we're both under the influence. Something is going to be put in bad, and bad things are going to come of it, So that's what happened there. And I still talk to him like we both changed,
When did things start to go south? And how did you find yourself in this situation? And how the heck did you pick up an attempted murder charge? What was it that happened?
Okay, well, what happened was more jealousy, and just, getting too comfortable as far as the things you'd say to each other, or I'm not trying to say I'm a supermodel or all that, but I'm telling you, a lot of men would would be attracted to me. So he would see that and he would not like it. Um, so that was a problem, but it wasn't my fault, you know. And he was older. I like older guys, and the younger guys would be attracted to me, or whoever guys, you know what I mean? I didn't pay attention. So yeah, but same amount. So anyway, it started going bad after 3 years. After 3 years, it started getting, it just was getting worse and escalating into bad things in the beginning because our drinking got worse together. We started focusing on extra stuff that didn't even matter. It started getting petty. It just was too much. So he started getting he was getting abusive, and my anger. I have battered women syndrome already. I guess I held a lot of stuff in. I was kind of quiet growing up, suffered in silence. So that's basically how it just got bad, you know. I felt like he was taking advantage of me and taking me for granted and using me up, you know, as far as intimately, like, and he didn't want to take me serious. And at this point, I'm like, either, you know, marriage is important to me. And that's one of the things that he had told me in the beginning after we started being exclusive. And so I started feeling in my mind, but didn't express it, like, you're really, this call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded. And that was it, pretty much. You know, it was that bad. So I could lead up to that night, but I don't know if you were there yet. The night of the incident.
What happened that night?
Okay, that night I had been asking for him to take off a Saturday and us spend time. And he said he can't, because he was a superintendent for this big company. He would like excavate Apple buildings, you know, or like by the Staples Center, he would be in charge of excavating things, or, you know, he was a engineer. He did the St. Thomas Bridge in Long Beach, you know, putting the things underneath the water, stuff like that. Okay, so anyway, fast forwarding. Somebody called him, his son, after he told me no, he's not going to take a day off that Saturday, which was the next day. But when his son called, which is the older, he's a man now, so his son, I guess he asked him to have lunch. And he said, okay, I'll just take a day off. And so when he got off the phone, I was like, oh, you could take a day off. I didn't have a problem with him spending time with his son, but I was just thinking, like, oh, you could take a day off for him, but not me. And I just started getting all mad, right? And then it ended up leading to, so I went near this balcony that is in our house just to go out and get air. And he started seeing, like, right there behind us was a recycling center. So all these guys were just looking up. And it had nothing to do with me, but he started getting mad about that. And, oh, you're probably doing this and this and this and that. He started putting his hands on me and ended up, he dragged me inside. And he grabbed my hair and banged it against the window. And so we were by the kitchen table. We had just cut lemons because we were drinking. And I grabbed a knife and I stabbed him. And then I don't remember the middle part, but I remember the first stab and the after the last stab. And then I thought he was dead. So I just felt devastated, and I wanted to die too. So I jumped off a 3-story building. I'm on TV. I have all my paperwork from that night, and it showed him on a gurney. But I also went on a gurney. When I jumped from the balcony, I broke my femur, and it was sticking out of my knee. Both my feet were fractured on the top. I couldn't move. So I ended up going to the hospital, and that's what happened that night.
How many times did you hit him with the knife?
They said 5 times.
And at that moment,
Anyway,
Was there any type of hesitation before you jumped, or did you just immediately jump?
I just didn't know what to do, and my thought process obviously was obstructed, so I just foolishly grabbed my purse. I don't know why. Like, I just grabbed my purse, and every woman is not going to go nowhere without her purse. So I guess I was going to go to the grave with my purse. I grabbed my purse, took off my shoes, and just, they were knocking on the door at that point, security. So I ran to the balcony and jumped off. I didn't do nothing but damage myself.
And what's
That's
the
it.
next? What is the next thing you remember? You wake up. You wake up in a prison cell, in a jail cell, and what did you find out?
I was in the hospital. I went to the hospital, and to remember I was damaged. So I went to the hospital, and they tried to interview me, but I was so medicated, like they couldn't even talk to me. Like I was incoherent totally. And so they left. Like I wasn't even arrested yet. You know what I mean? I was in the hospital, but they had a guard right outside the door. So the next thing I remember is just me being in the hospital, and then after 3 days, or after a certain amount of time, they came and handcuffed, I think, my hand to the bed, and then most indefinitely somebody came in and read my rights, and then I was arrested at that point. But I still stayed in the hospital because I was so, messed up. And I thought he was dead. I assumed he was dead. So then, fast forwarding, they ended up, after I was in the hospital at the time, they transferred me to a jail hospital. And so then I was in there, and I went to court in the beginning on a gurney. The judge and court recorder literally came to my jail cell, the holding tank, because I was unable to be in court. So when I asked my way of finding out if he was dead or not, I asked, what am I looking at? And they said 28 to life. So in my mind, I said, oh my gosh, if he was dead, I was devastated. And I didn't find out till months later when I went to court one of the times after I graduated to a wheelchair court in LA from San Fernando Valley. This happened in San Fernando Valley. And, our Universal, the studio and all that. And I was sitting in court and I turned around and he was there. So I was totally happy that he was not deceased. And then from there, after a few months, I was transferred to the county jail, which is in Linwood, right there by Watts. I don't know if you know all these areas I'm telling you, like Watts and Parkland and all that. And where are you from? Where are you at?
I'm out of the Southern California area as well. So all these areas that you're speaking of, Long Beach, Gardena, Watts, Compton, definitely,
Yeah.
definitely been around all of them.
Okay. So anyhow, I'm in jail now, and then we got in touch because I wrote him a letter, and he wrote me back telling him to call him. And when I called him, we got back together because he totally didn't remember that night, and he didn't understand what happened and why. And he was actually with me the first 7 years that I was here. And then he fell off because he was moving to another state, Arizona, which is where he is right now. And now we're talking again. So he's alive. He's forgiven me. He knows that we were both in an addiction. He knows that he's guilty also. He takes half the blame because it takes two. He has 60 seconds remaining. That's pretty much it.